Alrighty, guys. Happy Thursday, May 1st, 2025. I stuttered on my words there this morning. Hope you guys are doing good out there today. And once again, we have another threat for severe weather today and tomorrow, and going into the weekend here as I expected. The significant severe weather threat overall, though, is going to start to lower, especially as we go to the weekend here. We're not going to be looking at any full blown big outbreaks like we've had kind of the last couple of days. I wouldn't really even say outbreaks at that point, really more just scattered to numerous severe weather. So we've got a pretty big risk zone on your screen here, as you can see, at a huge upper level low up here, moving across the Great Lakes with a cold front that's basically going to be kind of trailed out here behind this. We're also going to have a secondary surface low trough that's down here into Texas. It's also going to be bringing the threat for some severe weather today. Now, I will mention very low end tornado risk today, not zero, but very low end. Damaging winds and hail will be the main priority for today across all regions. But just be weather aware today. Have a way to get alerts on your phones. I do not know if I am going to live stream or not today. Probably will be taking today off just because the last couple of days have been a lot. Also, one of our kiddos is sick, so you guys may or may not see me. We'll definitely have a live update later on tonight, as we typically do our nightly updates. So be on the lookout for that there. But other than that, we may not be in coverage mode today. It depends on what happens and what goes on with our kiddos. So also same thing for this weekend as well. We'll probably be taking this weekend off just as well with everything that's been going on. So will be probably much needed, because next week it looks like we're going to see some more significant severe weather return. Pattern for next week also looking a little bit interesting. So we're going to talk about all that today. Like I said, lots of heavy rainfall ongoing up here into the Great Lakes here, Minnesota, portions of Wisconsin, Michigan, getting some heavy rainfall up there. There is a cold front starting to kind of trail here. There's an outflow boundary that's in place that left over from yesterday's storms that's allowing for some scattered showers here. Nothing severe ongoing yet this morning here, so that's a good thing. That will start to change as we go through the afternoon hours and the daytime heating increases, as well as shear in the atmosphere. So we're going to run through all of that here. Here's just another idea of what things are looking at here. Here is our IR satellite imagery this morning. You can once again see that boundary that's in place here, kind of a cold front in place. And then we're also going to have another little trough that's going to move through and give us some hail, some damaging winds, and a brief tornado threat down here into Oklahoma and Texas today. So we're going to walk you guys through that forecast. I do, as always, hope and appreciate you guys for watching this. If you guys will leave a comment if you have any questions, etc., and leave a like, and we'll go ahead and get into it. Alrighty, we're going to start out with the Storm Prediction Center outlook here for today for your Thursday, May 1st. As always here, happy May, by the way, guys. We are officially 1 month away from hurricane season, so to get things off, we'll start talking more about hurricane season prep and all of that in future videos later down the road. Here's probably as we get closer toward the end of May, but just be mindful, hurricane season is officially 1 day away, or 1 week away, 1 month away, and we can have storms that spin up and are a little bit closer to home earlier in the season before the official Atlantic season kicks off. So just be something mindful of that. Now is when I start to tell people to start getting their hurricane preparedness plans together. It would typically when we are about 4 weeks out from that event. So here is your Storm Prediction Center outlook for today. I will mention, like I said, pretty broad slight risk, pretty broad marginal risk for today. I wouldn't be shocked to see a level 3 enhanced risk be issued for southern Oklahoma and Texas if it would be for wind or for hail, not tornado driven. So may see that potentially. We may also see an upgrade maybe somewhere in the Ohio Valley. Not too certain on that, but I wouldn't be shocked to see that for either one, for wind or for hail. But we do have a pretty big marginal risk that goes basically from southern Texas up through Oklahoma, back into the southeast, up into the Ohio Valley, in and around, in a level 2 slight risk there in the yellow inside of that. Now here's the threats for today. The overall threat, we've got a 2% tornado risk for southern Oklahoma, northern Texas here along the Red River. Could see a couple spin ups of the line of storms that move through later on tonight through the overnight hours. 2% tornado risk that goes from basically just outside Nashville, Tennessee, up through Bowling Green, into Louisville, up through Cincinnati, pretty much all of Ohio under the threat for a low end tornado risk today, and then Pittsburgh and western portions of Pennsylvania there into that risk zone. So just have a way to get tornado alerts on your phones as always. Wind threat's going to be maximized today. We do have a 15% hatched wind threat over here today for eastern Texas Panhandle, including Amarillo and western Oklahoma. That's going to be due to an MCS that tries to develop later on tonight. That's Oklahoma and Texas's threat isn't going to be until after midnight tonight. So make sure you guys go to bed with alerts on your phones. Please have no weather radios set up as well. Outside of that 15% hatch, we could see winds up to 70 miles per hour there, anywhere from that yellow shaded area up to the Ohio Valley, that maroon shaded area as well. We could also see winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour at 15 and 5% chance there, within a 25-mile radius of a given point. And then we also got a hail hatched risk today as well. Could see hail above 2 inches in diameter here for Oklahoma City down towards the Red River here. Just be mindful of that. Again, outside of that hatched hail threat there, we could see anywhere from 1 to 2 inch diameter hail in that 15 and 5% risk zone. So not looking at a big crazy day today, just widespread severe weather. The troughing, a cold front trailing here, going to allow for a couple areas to see some severe weather today. Just be mindful, as always, have alerts on your phones. Then we get to tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit lesser in terms of severe weather potential. The Storm Prediction Center has upgraded a level 2 slight risk down here into Texas once again for hail and for wind. We are also looking at a pretty big marginal risk that goes from basically Buffalo, New York, all the way back down here to the Ohio Valley and into the southern plains and into the Arclitech here. Once again, trailing cold front still going to be in place here. Tornado risk for tomorrow is actually less than 2%, so we aren't really looking at a 2% tornado risk tomorrow. It's just between 0 and 2% there. So be mindful. You can get spin up tornadoes. They can happen. But overall tomorrow, wind threat at 5%, hail threat at 15 and 5. We won't be going live for this event either on yours Friday here. Just not really much of a need to. Just going to be scattered damaging winds and hail out there. So just be mindful of that for today and for tomorrow. And then we get to the day 3 outlook, and we do move along the East Coast here. Finally, we're going to kick this system out of here, and we're going to get basically the whole entire East Coast here from Boston, Massachusetts down to Savannah, Georgia here under the gun for a low wind 1 out of 5 risk zone here for wind and for hail. Maybe a brief spin up tornado. You can see there will be a ridge in place here for a couple days starting on Saturday and for Sunday. General thunderstorms outside of that ridge, so we should see a little bit of a quieter weekend for most people. And then we get to the day 4 through 8 outlook, and the Storm Prediction Center is talking about the threat for potential severe weather going into Monday through Wednesday of next week. A little bit of uncertainty on where that's going to be at. We'll have a couple cutoff lows that are going to be it's going to be really interesting to look at this on models. We'll talk about it here in a second. But we're going to have a couple cutoff lows that are going to allow for some severe weather either in the Ohio Valley or into the southern plains here. We'll talk about that here again in just a second. Here's our model run for today. Excuse me. Try to give you guys an idea here of what we're going to be seeing through the next couple of hours here, and we're going to see really through today. Not a lot going on. A couple supercells down here into southern Texas for some hail and some wind. We're going to see the start of an MCS here that's going to develop later on tonight. You're going to see that basically move through some damaging winds, some large hail, possibly an isolated brief tornado. This is going to be about between midnight tonight and about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning if you're in southern Oklahoma, western Arkansas. So do have a way to get alerts on your phones. I've mentioned that a couple times. I keep stressing that because some people just don't know that severe weather's coming, and it surprises me every single time. So just be mindful of that. Heavy rainfall will also add up once again. That complex of storms will basically weaken by midday tomorrow. It might refire off into the Ohio Valley in the southeast where we'll have a little bit more instability. And then going into Friday's forecast, we do have more scattered to numerous severe thunderstorms here possible. We wouldn't shock to see an elevated hail risk as well with some of these storms that do fire off. And then eventually this grows upscale overnight once again, or evening into overnight hours on to Saturday here, Friday night and Saturday, and we get another line of storms that comes through. And we'll talk more about that in the next video tomorrow. Now, I do want to go ahead and go to the Ohio Valley in the northeast here and talk about what we're going to see today. Like I said, there's a boundary in place here that's going to give us the threat for some isolated mini supercells kind of once again. So some areas may see storms, some may not. Just a wide area here of scattered, isolated supercells here, potentially posing the risk for some damaging winds, some hail, a couple brief tornadoes can't be ruled out. I don't really see anything getting organized in terms of damaging wind, at least until later on this evening, getting closer to eastern Ohio, maybe West Virginia, western PA, but really just not a big day in terms of significant severe weather. We're going to have a little bit of instability, a little bit of shear, but not enough to really cause an outbreak. And then going into Friday's forecast, we'll see that cold front extend into Tennessee, into the Carolinas, into the Ohio Valley again, and we could see some wind and some hail with that second trough moving in. So just really not looking at the next 72 hours here, really looking at more just isolated to scattered cells here across majority of the southern plains, the Arklatex, the Mississippi River Valley, the southeast, the Ohio Valley, the northeast. Just be mindful if you're out and about the next 3 days here, really not looking at any outbreaks or anything too crazy. So we'll more than likely be taking the next 3 days off in terms of streaming, but if anything does change, we'll keep you guys updated and we'll let you guys know. I do want to briefly talk about this interesting forecast that we're going to see here for the next couple of days, and you can see just different pieces of energy here moving across the Ohio Valley down here into the southern plains. You've got a wave up here into the northeast, or just different troughing, allowing for just scattered to numerous severe weather threats. And so going through the next couple of days into Friday, into Saturday here, we're going to see this little bowling ball trough, and I want to pay attention to this, and I want to pay attention to this. This is going to be our next severe weather maker here on the left side of your screen for Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. We're also going to have this cutoff low pressure system here that's basically just going to stall out and sit in between this ridge. We do have a high pressure system over the plains for Saturday and Sunday here, but this cutoff low is going to cause some issues, either some day-to-day marginal risk severe weather zones across the Ohio Valley with some wind and some hail, and then we're going to have to watch this pretty significant trough that's going to develop going into Monday here. This could cause a pretty significant severe weather threat for some hail, some wind, maybe a couple tornadoes going into eastern New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma Panhandle there on Monday. And like I said, just low is just going to sit here and sit here and sit here, and so that's going to bring a couple days of scattered cells for severe weather, and we really have to watch on Monday night into Tuesday as this trough ejects here for the potential for some more significant severe weather on Tuesday, and then going into Wednesday, and then going into Thursday, and then maybe even some severe weather going through the week here on the northeast. So once again, I expect day-to-day severe weather across this region going from next Monday into next Saturday, at least day-to-day severe weather. So don't be shocked if you get put in risk zones pretty much every single day next week, especially if you live in the southern plains. And then going past that point, things get a little bit uncertain on what's going to happen going into the second and third week of May, but we could see some more active severe weather, maybe even in some ridging going into that. So just a lot of things to pay attention to in terms of the severe weather forecast, in terms of just general thunderstorms in a general sense. Here's kind of what a radar can look like. You see scattered and numerous severe weather going on Or not numerous, but isolated scattered severe weather going on today, going into Friday, going on into Saturday. There's that front leaves. That trough just kind of sits there. Cutoff low spins. Not a lot of rain with that cutoff low, but enough to cause some issues. Probably cloudy days going into next week here. You can see that low pressure system moving in on Monday and Tuesday across the southern plains. It ejects. It sits there, scattered to numerous storms throughout Wednesday, throughout Thursday, throughout Friday. And then after that, things, like I said, get a little bit uncertain on what's going to happen at that point. I will show you guys the rainfall rates because we've had some historic flooding in and around Texas and Oklahoma over the last 7 days here. We're going to see some more rainfall really through the next couple of days. This is through about May 10th here, so about the next 8 to 7 day period. You can see where majority of that rainfall is going to fall out here. Even some higher totals of 3 to 5 inches plus going into eastern Texas, southern Arkansas, and northern portions of Louisiana. One more thing I will look at here is going to be the instability. Just kind of give us an idea of where we're seeing the potential for the higher threat for severe weather. You want to see those instability values a little bit higher when you're looking at for severe weather. And you can see there will be pretty decent amount of instability down here in Texas, so I'm not too concerned about that. Enough instability across the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley there in the northeast to give us severe weather going into the next 2 to 3 days here as well. That instability will start to diminish going into next week before that trough comes in. We should see a return of some instability here going into Texas, Oklahoma on Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, but just not a lot of return here, and that's going to be due to all of the severe weather we've had over the last couple of days, keeping instability at bay. So I'm not really seeing the threat for a significant outbreak as of right now in the near to distant future, but things can change. You guys know models can change, and we might be seeing the return for some significant severe weather maybe up into the Midwest and northern plains going into the middle of May. So a lot of things to change, guys. We'll probably honestly start to have a couple of some game streams going through the next couple of days potentially here. Might pop one in today, might pop one in tomorrow. Just depends on how things go. That way we can kind of take a break from things for just a little bit, but we'll keep you guys updated daily with the weather forecast as always. I do appreciate y'all for watching. Stay safe, guys. Be weather aware and have a wonderful Thursday.